ads for events.
Oh yeah, and take them in
and they was goddamn taking little small portions out. At the same time, I was taking out these Facebook ads. So it said Face BK.
What?
And I'm like, it's Facebook. You know what I'm saying? You look at your You look at your shit. You know what I'm saying? It's Face BK. By Hondo, my man.
They take like a month or something. Like usually, to take the shit out for ads.
See, that's what I don't know.
No,
You
that's
thought
what
you got scammed on
Facebook?
Facebook?
Yeah.
No, I mean, shit, you do it every week, man. That shit add up.
You ever had a chick try to get some money that you had told her you was gonna give her a while back? Like she tried to come like
hit that request. I'm just requesting and sending a reminder of the request that I sent you.
Talking about if you just send the rest.
Bitch, you home, ain't you?
Yeah, girl, I'm asleep. My dick little. It's over. Man.
It's only 42 minutes.
Yeah, man. You're supposed to pay for the meal after.
That hookah should be added in, though.
Hey, man.
You can't just, man, it depends on where you at.
Yeah,
inflation.
Hookah be $50, $85.
You feel
That shit is
me?
up and down, bro.
$35, $85.
And some people pay after the second refill.
That shit
you got to
is
go
like
back
a
and
mile
pay.
in a jar.
That shit is bad.
New York, that should be like $80, $100 and shit.
$100 for a cherry cigar.
It's a whole
There's a whole zip. They got a whole
They give you the pineapple. They give you the shit inside pineapple. Make it
You really buy weed with this money? Like what?
That's what I'm saying.
You know, everybody got
Does
their
anybody
thing.
ever put weed in their hookah?
That shit give you a headache.
I seen a woman get
I
dizzy.
tried to do that
I don't
before.
smoke hookah no more, but back I tried it.
Yeah.
You can't really even feel the weed to me.
Put weed in the hookah. You hit it.
I had on my birthday that roast. I had my own hookah. We weeded that motherfucker. It was just weed.
Oh,
And they was hitting them bubbles at the bottom.
Yeah, that's different. I had it like mixed with the shisha.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
You
what
had
I'm
it
talking
with
about.
everything. Okay.
Mixed with the hashish?
With the shisha, yeah.
Oh, the shisha.
The shisha.
I thought you said hashish.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say, you on that brown.
We ain't taking the good one.
Let's go. Let's talk. Let's get into it. Somebody hit that nigga ratchet button.
You know what I'm saying?
Do it again.
And that's when a nigga reset. Dude, let's go. Like, whoa, nigga.
Shout out to what's her name? Glorilla. Glorilla. Shout out to Glorilla, man. That shit is super dope.
Sound with your guy that didn't read nothing.
When you dig in your ear too much with a Q-tip, that shit's got.
She tried to conjure like this.
Hey man, she didn't read shit. Y'all niggas are tripping. First of all,
I believe she had a lawyer.
I don't care, niggas. It was like what, $500,000?
It's $500,000 and a watch and a check.
Man, fuck what that paper say, man. I'm good.
You gotta pay that shit back over 90 years.
Whatever. What else I'm gonna do?
Nah, that's facts though.
She was on top of a
Congratulations.
Toyota Camry talking about, let's go.
Nah, facts.
Give me my money.
Yeah.
Fuck nigga free.
And then when all your friends is behind you, goddamn,
Yeah, her
piping it
friends
up,
rap
you're
too,
going
though.
to sign.
You seen
bitch.
that?
Have you realized?
Bitch, you better sign before I beat your ass. You like, what the fuck?
Now they go. You know, it was one friend to call like, it's funny how.
Her friends rap too though.
Was that the friends that said come outside, ho? Was that them same girls?
Maybe.
They said get off live, ho.
Come outside. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was like,
that
oh
shit
my
keep
God.
going. I think it's them. I don't know. I don't
They
wanna
got
put that
thigh
on nobody.
tats, boy. Be afraid.
Put it in the comments whoever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, but shit, Kamal ain't here to get this thing cranking.
Hey,
But
man,
you gonna do it?
MoreThanCULTR is the show.
Nope. That don't sound right.
I was trying to goddamn.
I know you were trying to sound like Kamal and then come off right. Come on. Come on. Come on.
MoreThanCULTR is the brand. This is the podcast. My name is Reemo Rod.
Tyler Chronicles.
Ronnie Jordan.
Kamal is right now coming in about 15 minutes. Tyler, it's on you.
You sound like Macho.
That wasn't bad.
You sound like Macho
You sound
Man.
like Macho Man.
Randy
Kamal looks
Savage.
like a wrestler. So, like, I mean, like, come on.
He sound like one.
You sound like Macho Uzi Vert. Macho Vert.
Man, without further ado,
Come on,
man, we have a special guest in the building.
Super special guest.
Super special guest. Super entertainer, first and foremost.
Wow.
From the city of Philadelphia.
Wow.
I really
I
love.
didn't know that.
Yeah, something I learned.
Ishka Bibbles in them.
It's the middle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Philly
Come on,
cheese and all that.
South
You know what I
East
mean?
shit.
The
I mean-
bull.
Young bull.
The young bull. The Jones and the bull. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a matchup between the Jones and the bull. Came to Atlanta and staked their claim, made a motherfucking name. creator of the snack pack. If you have ever been to the world famous Magic City, the motherfuckers hanging from the ceiling that you throwing money at, she the reason. Moved on to Beyond the Pole, WeTV affiliate, along with my brother Ronnie Jordan.
Come on now,
man! Shout out to Bossa on WeTV on that show Beyond the Pole, and now currently starring on P Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Gigi Maguire. Appreciate
Hey,
you.
y'all.
What's up?
Thanks for visiting us.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers to you for all your success.
Yes, cheers.
Boom.
Cheers.
So you 1 year on the sober shit, huh?
1 year in.
1 year?
1 year.
Was it an event or just something you did?
It was a lead up to a big bang that I was just like, you know what, I'm good.
The Big Bang, what's up?
It
Talk
was-
to us.
Yeah, I had like a blackout moment
Okay.
where I don't remember, still to this day, I don't remember from a certain point of the night on until the next day when I woke up.
Wow.
That was your
And
first blackout.
Yeah, and luckily there were people that, I was with my family, I ended up with my
Okay.
boyfriend, so it was cool because I was in good hands,
Yes.
but I scared myself crazy that
Hell
night.
yeah.
And I just,
And that was like, it's over with.
yeah.
You woke up like one of them said, I lost time.
Yeah.
I woke up looking around like, where am I?
Damn.
What was you
remember
drinking
nothing.
on? Can you remember that?
Casamigos, Reposado.
Blanco,
Reposado.
Reposado, the dark one.
All the brunch favorites.
Yeah.
So you was putting us on game. What is the correct mimosa for the brunch heads?
A mimosa is simply orange juice with champagne with a splash of orange juice. And you actually put the orange juice in the flute first, and then you pour the champagne on top. It's not true.
Because most girls just
They
put a
just-
little splash of juice at the
No,
end.
you put it at the bottom. But then, these days we have all these fabulous, fancy, schmancy ghetto brunch spots, and they want to give you all these different
Shout out to the ghetto
watermelon
brunches.
mimosa, peach mimosa.
I had a Sunny Delight mimosa. That
Yeah.
shit was thick as hell. It was thick as a motherfucker.
That shit sound good, though.
That's the only way nigga drink champagne. Put some Sunny D in
Little
that
Sunny
bitch.
D.
Little
Cut that
tang.
motherfucker.
Same thing with the Bellinis. The Bellini is peach puree, and it's made the same way as a mimosa, but there's no strawberry Bellini, no
Hold on, that's
blue
fancy for what the
raspberry
fuck is a
Bellini.
Bellini?
Yeah, we don't know.
That sound like a food. What's a Bellini?
That sound like some
It's
noodles.
a champagne cocktail. It's a champagne cocktail similar to a mimosa, except it's made with peach puree.
Oh shit, I gotta put that out. I fuck around on the beach with a little champagne.
Little
every now and
Bellini.
then, I mean,
Put that in the vocab. So like, yo, let's go get some Bellinis.
Yeah, she gonna be like, oh, he played for the Hawks. That's Gallinari.
Then they get manicures, bitch. That's hilarious.
I know everybody for the Hawks. Louis got Nah, bitch, that's Gallinari.
Nigga, he put juice in his champagne, bitch. I don't know what he doing.
So starting off, man. So let's talk a little bit about growing up in Philly, man. Talk about, you were telling me a little bit when I saw you in LA. You would give me a little splash about, you know what I'm saying, how you came up and how you came to be. But talk to some of our fans about it.
So Philly is a very special, dirty, ghetto,
Come on.
crab
Philly.
in a barrel ass, no fucking brotherly love
great
ass place. I love it and I hate it at the same time. It's my home, and it'll always be home, but I will never live there again. It's just not the place for me. However, growing up, I had a very large family. I was a side baby. So
Me too.
my
Shout out to
side
Side
babies.
Babies.
Shout out to us.
Side babies are babies too.
We some special people.
Is that a shirt?
Yeah.
Ooh, side babies.
Side
Nice.
babies is babies too.
Yeah.
They put Roe v. Wade on bottom.
Oh my God. Shout out Roe v. Wade.
Hashtag.
Shout out to my
Oh,
sponsor.
y'all thought the side babies was out.
Sponsored by Roe v. Wade.
So yeah, my father was married, and then I was born, and 16 days later, my sister was born.
Whoa.
Clearly not by his wife.
Of course.
So, yes.
Yo.
He said,
There was a
yeah.
lot of back and forth, and there's a lot of siblings, and I was my mother's like golden child.
Okay.
My
Of course.
father's family was rich, and she had access to the beach house and
Oh, that
I was gonna say
all of
that.
the fancy shit.
That sound like a hustler, or
My dad, my dad's, his father was a construction worker. He owned construction companies and funeral homes. And in 1962, he became one of Philadelphia's first black millionaires.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come from that lineage.
Yeah. So that was my dad's side of the family. But my mom got food stamps.
Okay.
That's
And
how
I used to
it
stand
be,
in line
B.
with her at the 3-2 center, picking up the stamps in the book. You know what I'm
Right,
talking about?
stamps in the book.
And I always, I was raised on welfare and Medicaid, so I had all the good doctors because they pay for everything. They pay for everything. You know, but on the flip side of that coin, I went to tennis camp, I went to private school, I went to dance school, and that's how the whole dance thing started. I technical ballet since the age of 4. So that's that background.
Technical ballet, that sounds like it hurt.
It did.
On your toes.
Yeah. I got a little
When your
funky toe.
toes creak. I'm about to say, on your toes.
I got one little funky toe, yeah.
You got a spun toe.
Yeah, I got a little funky toe thanks to the ballet. But I'm very flexible and graceful thanks to the ballet.
Very true, very graceful. Sorry for the interruption.
This
And
time
it
of the
is.
show, with 10 minutes in, we done monetized. We can light them if you got them.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Smoke joints, right?
I do.
Can someone roll Gigi Maguire a joint?
I do smoke joints.
Can someone please roll Gigi Maguire a joint?
Thank you so much.
Saying it to one of you.
Hey.
Oh, look at that
I have a courtesy joint already.
Thank you.
Save
I
yourself.
appreciate this one.
Right
Actually, I'm gonna let y'all use my lighter. It's a little special.
Oh, hold on. What you about? You came marrying this under the breast?
Wait.
So you was slick Cinderella on the weekend? Hey, you got your own lighter?
You got your own light.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Better
So we gonna
monetize
use
yourself.
my
Yes,
lighter.
we are.
I need that one.
We're going to do it. We had to get a close up.
All right, so look. So you say you played tennis?
I went to tennis camp. I went to summer camp. I went to private school. I went to dance class.
I tried to talk to this girl who played tennis
No, you didn't.
and went out for tennis. You can't play tennis if you don't play tennis.
If you don't
shit.
My nigga, you have to run back and forth, and it's like doing suicides all day.
It's
Yeah,
difficult.
tennis is very
It's
good. I didn't
crazy.
stick to tennis. That was like a childhood thing. Dance was my thing.
Okay.
So I went to a performing arts high school where not only did we have to have a talent, we also had to be smart and
Right.
maintain a B average.
I was about to say you had to take a test to get up in
Yeah,
that
Blue
motherfucker.
Ribbon School of Excellence. Can I have a napkin? I feel like my lips is doing something weird. The
Napkin
gloves.
on set,
I'm sorry.
please.
Can we get
I thought I
Napkin
had.
flying in.
And
I think I did too.
what was this shit called? A burley? A burley?
Burlesque.
No, a burley.
Burley.
What's the name of that drink you was talking about?
Oh, Bellini.
And a Bellini, please.
You was so off.
I was off.
Burley.
I thought you was talking about dance.
Burlesque.
You said a burlesque.
Sometimes my mind has dyslexia as well.
No, that's the only place you have it. Where else you get dyslexia at? In your body?
So how was that going from like the rich house to back to the crib every weekend? Like, was it every weekend or you was there for months or weeks?
No. I didn't live in like the hood. Like my mom's house is in this. I lived in Mount Airy, which is like, you know, let me see what I can compare it to here.
Don't recant now, nigga. You was like, yo, we was down the street.
Like Eagles
No,
Lane.
I never lived in the hood.
You shared one.
You know,
Like
we still
Decatur.
so Philly streets are really small and the
Yes.
row houses and
Row house is cool.
and there's no like driveways or backyards. So I lived in an area where we had driveways and backyards and
Okay.
single family homes
That
and,
was
and
tough.
double family homes and you know.
Mid-level exception.
So it was like where the girls were pretty and the niggas was pussies and lived in their mama's basements. You know what I'm saying? It was that area.
That's what the studio
Niggas
was.
wasn't outside.
So really,
It wasn't no hood niggas in Mount Airy, no.
Okay.
So really,
Sorry, y'all.
Really,
Sorry, Mount
Sorry.
Airy.
I love y'all.
Mount Airy niggas like,
It's
yo,
a
that's
few,
crazy.
but they wasn't the North Philly, South Philly, West
Sorry,
Philly
y'all.
hood niggas.
Yeah, nigga.
They was, you know, they came
Yeah.
from 2-family homes with driveways and
Yeah.
garages.
Ain't
you
no
know.
AR abs over there.
Yeah, no,
No
no.
monsters of Philly.
Meek from Burke Street. You know what I'm saying? Meek from the hood. Like it wasn't no
Yeah.
Meek Mills in Uptown.
She
Sorry.
was like Cinderella and Nunu put together.
And she had to pay for her lunch.
Niggas with the food stamp booklet.
With the food stamp book.
Okay.
No, so seriously, I would go to my grandfather's house and jump into the in-ground pool and that
Shit
whole
crazy,
thing.
ain't it?
And then I would get on the bus and go back home to my mom's house and, you know.
How was that duality? Were you like really living the new life?
No, I mean, I was really young. I was a little kid. And it just was regular to me. Like my daddy family had it and my mama didn't.
Yeah, so you growing
That's
up
all.
in it, this shit just feels alright.
So, you know, I kind of had it when I was with my dad and them.
I ain't gonna lie,
But
bro.
when I went back to my mom and them,
Did you ever have that one friend that had like so much more than you? You was like,
Oh, yeah.
God
I
damn.
talk to that nigga to this day. He saved my
Bruh.
life. Yeah.
Bro, this nigga named Weldon I grew up with. This nigga.
Weldon sound like he got money.
Oh my
man.
God.
It's the third,
bro.
whatever his last name
Weldon
is.
is
Nigga.
Long
You don't
blood.
name your son Weldon when you
His
do
name
it.
Oh
is
my
Weldon
God.
Brandywine the third.
Randy White.
This nigga might be a Rothschild.
Right.
This nigga Weldon, bro, this nigga had a playroom and a puzzle room.
A puzzle room.
A puzzle room.
This nigga got too much money.
You can play with your Legos
think
in
it's
here
got a whole
thing, and then back here you can throw your basketball around.
What?
God damn.
A puzzle room. This nigga, you got a trick candle?
It got a hole in it.
Damn, trick candles.
Penny with a hole.
Oh Lord.
He said,
Oh Lord.
We'll make it work.
I got a secret if you want to fix.
Someone please roll Gigi Maguire.
No, I got it.
Untricked candle.
And listen, I'm fucking with y'all because I usually don't smoke on camera.
Oh yeah,
man.
we'll make it look like
But
a
you,
hookah.
no, that's fine. You know the vibe.
We'll make it look like a hookah.
I'm a real one.
Word
You know,
up.
I never say I don't smoke. I just don't ever do it.
On camera.
Every once in a while.
Yeah,
Every
she
once in
just
a while.
star, man. Fuck it.
Good day.
You know what I'm saying? Rihanna smoke weed.
Come on now. So,
I
smoke
smoked
weed.
with Rihanna before.
oh, that's
What?
cool.
At Diddy's
now
house.
she got stories now. We can
I
get
smoked
to
with
it.
Rihanna
talking
at
about-
Diddy's house.
we
I
can
smoked
get
with
to-
Rihanna at Diddy's house and at what was that club in Miami? Not Live, Mansion or one of Cameo, one of them.
I just start out. She was just like, I got a joint, man.
Nah,
The spinny
I got a
pickles.
joint line.
I got a joint, man.
he was talking and she just passed it.
Yeah.
Like you know,
Right.
there was a bunch of us hanging out and we was in the section and
It's
we
regular
was talking
shit.
and she just passed the joint. And I was
My
like,
mom
oh shit,
Rihanna
I
said,
fuck
bitch,
with
you
Rihanna.
hit the gag, goddamn.
That's
What?
hilarious.
Nah, I know you got a lot of
I do
celebrity
got a
stories.
lot
but
of
hold on,
celebrity
before you get into that, I
Yeah.
want to get to the. Let's go ahead and move to the transition from
From the ballet.
what you was doing like to dancing. You know what I'm saying? From the ballet to dancing, or move to Atlanta. Which one came first?
So I started dancing in Philly because I was a drug mule.
No shit.
Well, I was a drug mule one time. So when you do something once,
It's you forever. Like, it's
Yeah.
in
you
you.
forever.
yeah.
Okay.
You suck a dick once, you gay.
Look at me.
You know, Tank said
On your
otherwise.
show, we gonna get to that too.
But-
No.
Yeah,
I got
so
all that bookmark. Stay tuned, motherfucker.
So I became a mother at the age of 17.
I know.
I dropped out of high school, not eighth grade, sorry, senior year, middle of the school year. I dropped out of high school, pregnant. I had my daughter. I never went back. 2 years after, no, I'm sorry. 5 days after her second birthday, her father was murdered.
Oh.
And at the time, he was, taking care of me. We weren't together, but he made sure my bills was paid and she had everything
what's
she
up.
needed.
That's
So my
what's
little
up.
job money, shampooing at my cousin's barbershop
Right.
was my little pocket change and whatever here. So when he passed away, I ended up losing my apartment because I couldn't afford my bills. I couldn't go back to my mom's house because she had put me out when my daughter was 5 months because I beat her with an ironing board.
Was it like,
Beat your mama with an iron board?
whoa, that was some Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, hey man, the mothers and daughters be going at it now.
Not fast.
It's smoking now. That's a whole different story. We'll talk about that later. But
So-
anyway, so
No, go ahead,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just about to
She was like in
say.
your cereal or some shit? Like,
We were arguing, and I had just gave my daughter a bath, and I was putting her to sleep with a bottle. We was arguing. She went to throw her glass of wine in my face, but it got all over my daughter.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
then
it.
when I took her
Yeah.
in the house to clean her up, we were arguing back and forth, and I'm a gotta have the last word type of person.
My
and I
baby
was
smell like
arguing with my
Merlot.
mom.
Bitch, like,
Chardonnay,
Yeah.
and we got to fighting in the hallway, and it was the iron board leaning up against it, and I just
Yeah.
beat her with
yeah,
it.
this movie would be
She
amazing.
put me out.
Amazing.
My daughter was 5 months old. I ended up in my best friend's boyfriend's apartment where they bagged up dope and counted money, and I slept with AR-15s under the bed and baking soda in the cabinet.
safe.
Told you we got.
And they taught me how to.
Somebody with a story.
They
Yeah.
taught me how to chop and bag up coke. I counted all the money. They had a taxi cab driver that they had like on roster or whatever in payroll.
He was the first Uber?
Yeah,
That's the full Uber.
and listen, he was African with a yellow cab. His name was Ola. And he would come to the house and pick me up, and I would have whatever I needed in the book bag, and he would take me to the block. I would drop it off. It would be a whole exchange, and then I did that for a while. But I moved out of there. Something told me that I had to get out of there, and like maybe 2 months after I moved out of there,
Yeah, the
that
guns
and
under the bed.
every other space got raided, and they ended up
wow.
in jail,
In the
so.
movie, you're gonna be every time you go, you be like, hola, hola, hola.
Shout out to Ola, man. That was my nigga.
Hola.
And shout out to the hair washers. I was about to say this, man. I used to get my hair cut at a like it was a barbershop / salon.
Yeah.
Kamal
Hey.
in the building.
How's it going?
What's good?
The
What's
Sugar
good?
G's.
So with the brothers?
Santa brother.
Y'all good, y'all good.
Sounds around.
I'm Gigi. Nice to meet you.
Kamal, Gigi Maguire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You used to get your hair washed?
I used to get my hair washed. So what they do is they'll get the beautiful like 18, 19-year-olds.
That was me.
That was washing hair
was me.
to wash the hairs of like the 13, 14, 15-year-old guys. And they
Oh
would
no, I
call
was
it
watching grown men here.
I mean, yeah, but them too. But like, you know what I'm saying? We got They call it a wet dream.
Oh no.
What?
He's like,
Who is they?
yo, you want to go back there and get you a wet dream, youngster?
What kind of nasty barbershop is that?
I get where you going with
It's
that.
like,
That was wild.
yeah, I would like to go back there and get my hair washed. Nigga, that shit was so amazing.
My cousin's barbershop is a Philadelphia staple. You know Jig, right? The barber. So he worked under my cousin Jay Fresh, and they won a bunch of hair shows, and you know they was in all the magazines and won a bunch of trophies. We got hella pictures. Them and I don't know if y'all familiar with comedian Buck Wild from Philly.
That's my name.
And Michael Blackston. I used to wash Michael Blackston hair.
Oh, you mother sucker.
Yeah, him and Michael Blackston and Buck Wild used to be in the barbershop making everybody laugh all day. Your feet smell like hot dog water, and he was doing that mother sucker shit way back then. Beach ass nigga, he was doing that shit way back then. I was probably maybe 19, 20 years old. Earlier than that, because I had my daughter when I was 17, and when I first started working there, she was a little baby, and when I stopped working there, I was 20. That's when I started dancing.
Okay.
So,
okay. Where's the first club you went to?
Delilah's. It was like the Cheetah.
Yeah. Slow day.
Yeah. With the gowns, we wore gowns.
Not the gowns.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, come to the stage, Gigi Maguire.
No, I was Aaron.
Oh, give it for Aaron. The black Aaron, because the white one will be up at 12:30.
I was Aaron with an E.
Bedwear
Aaron with
by
an E.
J.C. Penney.
She's a private school girl. She's classically trained in ballet. Give it up for Gigi. I mean, give it up for Aaron with an E.
Aaron with an E. Who named you? Cause I know you didn't pick that, fam.
So
She did.
well, I kinda. So there's a story to everything. So
Yes, you got great stories.
So going back to my daughter's father being killed and me leaving that apartment that he was paying rent. So I ended up moving into the apartment that he got killed in because his father owned the building. Wow. So when I got evicted, I told my daughter's father, my daughter's grandfather, like, I'm getting evicted, I don't have nowhere to go. And he's like, well, you can move into the apartment, you know. Wow. So I moved into that apartment, and that was in the hood. That was like hood, 13th Park Avenue. Shout out to Wallow and Gilly and all of them from Erie Ave. I lived on the block where they be playing basketball on the street.
Yeah,
I lived on that block. The whole block is knocked down. Temple University bought it and knocked the whole thing down.
So
but
Temple on it.
I lived on that block. And so I ended up dealing with a guy from the neighborhood, and we had this weird open relationship where he had a girlfriend and I was a hoe, and he got mad because I was a hoe. And
yo, that's how it starts, though.
Niggas can't take the open relationship.
Yo, that's how it starts.
His girlfriend name was Keisha, and I would go out with this rich ass Jamaican nigga, and he would give me money, and I would buy this nigga some Timbs. But then when the nigga from the hood that I used to fuck with back in the day came through, and everybody knew I fucked the nigga at my apartment, he came in swinging to beat my ass naked.
Oh, okay. Go get the money, but this raggedy nigga.
Yeah.
Not him here.
Yeah.
Not him.
It's my cousin for real.
He was mad. He was mad about that. So he literally whipped my ass naked. And so then I called my brothers and them, and they came down, and there was a warning, right? And then I ended up fucking with the nigga again. And then when I tried to break up with him the next time, he tried to kill me. He kicked in the air conditioner and climbed through the second floor window, and I woke up with him on my chest with a knife. Oh, and we fought. It was a whole movie scene. We fought and everything. He knocked the refrigerator down the steps, so I was barricaded in the apartment.
This movie is going to be.
I had just made spaghetti that day, so it was spaghetti all down the wall, all down the steps. It was a pot of spaghetti in the refrigerator. My daughter saved my life. My daughter woke up and walked into the room, and he saw her and stopped everything.
Yeah, you gonna stop that, bro.
She was 3 years old. So I went to my mother's house, and she's like, you can stay here for 48 hours, but you got to figure it out. Yeah. I didn't even stay for 48 minutes. I left. So I moved to my god sister's basement. She had just bought a house, and her basement was like unfinished, mildew, dusty. Damn. And I moved into there, and she does hair. So she has these clients that work at Delilah's. So she's like, I had nothing. I left that apartment with the clothes on my back, and I never went back. I had nothing. I had no money, no nothing. I could go to the barbershop and make $200, but I had nothing. No car, no clothes, no nothing. So she's like, you know, these girls be dancing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking dirty, gutter butt, fuck yourself on the stage with a Corona bottle for $40 a nightclub. I was ignorant to the facts. I didn't know that
That was my
gentlemen's
first
clubs.
experience.
Yeah, I mean, I had cousins.
Luke was at the gate in Decatur, and I seen a girl do that split on that Heineken.
Ooh.
It changed my life.
Yeah, so I had cousins that worked in those kind of clubs, so that's the only kind of club I knew about. So anyway, I know I'm rambling, but
This is amazing.
so so she's like, you know, these clubs is like athletes and doctors and lawyers and professional men, white people, like it's really nice. You should look into it. So fast forward, the Jamaican nigga that I was fucking with that was giving me money and I was buying the nigga Tim's.
Right.
So I started hanging out with his sister.
Okay.
I started hanging out with his sister, and she was like, Jay was Jamaican, so she was like tall, big body. This was before surgery, body, and big Amazonian, big bitch,
Like
with big body,
Chiquita O'Malley?
and she was like that, and she was real beautiful, and she drove a Benz, and I just looked up to her like, oh my God, you're so fucking awesome, like I want to be when I grow up.
Play her in the movie.
And Lisa Red.
Ooh.
Lisa Red.
They can't act.
All right. So, but that's what she gives. She give like all grown up, like Diamond all grown up. So anyway, so I'm hanging out with her one day, and she introduced me to.
I'm sorry, this nigga over there did cross his feet.
You was hanging out with
I was hanging out one day, and she introduced me to. You know what? I'm about to give y'all an exclusive because I never say names. She introduced me to Aaron McKee that played for the Sixers at the time.
Come on, man. Shout out to Aaron
So
McKee.
on our first date,
Origin story.
So on our first date, I asked him about Delilah's, and he's like, "What do you know about Delilah's?" And I'm like, "My sister said I should work there." And he's like, "You would do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know what they do. Like, you know, do you be going there?" He was like, "All the time." So he's like, "Let's go now."
He said, all the time. I just came from there.
I know the manager.
I already got a table. So after
The wings
dinner,
going crazy.
we go to
I'm
the
him.
club, and I'm amazed walking in. It's marble floors, it's mirrors floor to ceiling, and 30-foot poles. Is everything. The girls,
30-foot
it's all
poles.
poles. The girls are in gowns, and everybody got big titties and their makeup and their hair, and they just look like money. And I'm like, this is not what I expected. So I'm sitting at the bar, and remember, I'm a technical trained dancer. So I'm sitting at the bar, and I'm watching the stage, and I'm watching the girls, and I'm just taking everything in. And this one girl catch my attention, and I'm like glued to this girl performing on stage. And I can tell that she has like real dance background. I'm like, damn, she can really dance. But on top of her really being able to dance, she's doing all these crazy pole tricks. So he hands me some ones, and he's like, go tip her. I get to the stage, and I look at her, and she look at me, and it's my little cousin, Brandy. My little cousin Brandy, and we both look at each other like, bitch, what you doing here? So she like, so I'm like, I'm with this basketball nigga. I'm trying to see what's up with his
Everybody
hair.
worked there first.
Like if Myron was cool, you know what I'm saying? Like,
What is going on?
Yeah, so
Everybody was up there already.
so she was 18. She had just turned 18 2 weeks ago. I was 20 at the time, and she like, bitch, I've been here since my 18th birthday.
But you late.
My 18th birthday. Yeah, you late.
bitch, you late, like.
So she introduced me to the manager. I sat in on a meeting the next day, and then after the meeting, I did my little interview, which was nothing but a body check. And then he was like, "When you want to start?" And I'm like, "Immediately." And he's like, "You got some shoes?"
Immediately.
Right now.
Did you fall in love
Fucking with us.
with the DJ?
2 years ago.
I feel like this shit is.
This is my real life. This is my true life story, I swear.
They stole your story.
So,
Did you fall in love with the DJ?
no. But he's like, "You got some shoes?"
Ah! I got some Timbs from this
Sunday.
weak ass nigga.
So Tim for the Jamaican nigga.
Whatever size. This nigga like beefs and broccoli.
Changed my life.
Well, okay, so you was like, so you saw, you felt like it was more money. Well, you knew it was more money to Delilah than was at the other club, the Gentleman's Club. Wasn't that good money? It was lazy money. At the other club you was at, the Gentleman's Club.
No. That was the only club. That was my first experience.
Oh, Delilah is
Delilah's
the
was the
Gentleman's.
yeah, like
Okay.
the
You just thought it was something.
So the reason why I named myself Aaron
Yes.
is because Aaron McKee was the ball player. So I named myself after. So I'm gonna tell you why. There's a reason why. So when a girl is telling me, so listen. So when I'm talking to the girls and they're telling me like, I'm like, all right, what should my name be? 'Cause my name is Kafi. There's no way I was about to be on stage as Kafi. Like that's not happening. So I'm like, well, what should my name be? So they're like,
Mocha.
men like names that are edible, men like names that are innocent, and men like names that are unisex. So I was like,
That last was a curveball.
She's like Joey, Frankie, Alex, Aaron.
Joey, I'm not
white guys.
Tommy, right? It was like Delilah.
With a Joey,
It was like Cheetah. It's like Lily's version of Cheetah.
You wanna fuck a Frankie?
No, white guys.
Listen,
Okay,
the Alex, the Tommy, the Joey, those bitches made a lot of money. I'm telling you. They like boy names. They like Adrian, they Taylor, Jordan. They like those names. So I named myself Aaron, but I made it Aaron with an E.
Okay.
Aaron McKee.
And that was the reason. Aaron McKee.
Wow, that's
Shout out to
amazing.
Aaron McKee.
Man, I used to
Shout
fuck
out.
with the Sixers.
That's
Aaron
crazy.
McKee played with Iverson and shit.
Yep,
man.
back in that
Days.
day.
That's amazing.
I know did he ever used to come in there?
No, and we never went out again. I started working at the club and I ain't had time. I ain't had time for no dates. I had to go to work.
I had to go get it.
I had sugar daddies after that.
You remember your first day? You remember your first day, your first dance? Like what song?
I don't remember my first dance, but I remember I made $862.
Hey.
Wow.
That's a great first day.
Yeah.
All right, so what makes like a good sugar daddy? Like if you could give
The
these
money.
niggas, I mean the money is cool, but like these niggas be kind of weird sometimes. So like, give
Your
us.
sugar daddy
Cool
kind of weird.
one. So my first
I'm just trying to get my sister. I'm just trying to get a culture sister.
So my first sugar daddy.
How do you approach a sugar daddy? Because maybe the
So they
DM said that's a
approach
better
you.
question.
They approach you.
Sugar daddy's coming
They
to you.
approach you.
I got $42. I can't do that.
That's a jewel though. All right, ladies, is
Sugar
looking for a sugar
daddy
daddy.
approach
It don't happen. You can't look
They
for one.
approach you.
Ooh.
They approach you. But my first sugar daddy, he was cool. He smoked a lot of weed, and he always wore black. He smelled like Issey Miyake all the time. This was the year 2000,
I'm
right?
saying niggas smell like OG.
This is the year 2000.
Curve,
This is the year 2000.
Smells help you remember shit,
22
though.
years ago.
Yeah.
So he would come into the club, and even if he was coming in and I was leaving, he would still hand me a band, like he'd go $1,000, you know. So
That nigga was on one.
Daddy, bro.
he came in the club on the
That sound like he
regular.
minus $900.
He came in the club on the regular, and he always, I always had a great night when he was there. And then he's like, so when can we go to dinner? I knew he was married and everything. We talked about his wife. And then he's like, when can we go to dinner? So we planned a date to go to dinner, and he pulled up at my apartment in some big ass expensive Jaguar, and he had on all black. And he was smelling like Issey Miyake, and I got in the car and he lit a joint and he handed it to me, and we went to Budokan for dinner, and he ordered a bottle of champagne, and we had like lobster, and I was just like, who stands care about this?
Yo, I don't know sugar daddy shit, but I done did this shit, son.
So then he dropped me
I took
back
my
off
cousin's
at
car,
my
though.
apartment, and he's like, how much do you make a week at work?
Oh, there's a question.
And I'm like,
That's where it's
and I'm like, I don't know, like 2,500. So he gives me 2,500, and he's like,
Fuck with
enjoy
me.
your week. Yeah.
Enjoy your week,
Enjoy
or
your
just
week.
But
like,
you're not even with me.
Fuck with
You
me.
go-
Enjoy your week.
You don't have to go to work if you
So
want.
he ain't
Go to
trying
work
to
if you
do
want.
nothing, he just-
Not the
here you
first
go.
night, no.
That nigga had that pussy marinated.
hey, he's
boy.
talking about shit. Put it on about
The
350,
first
He was probably the age that we are now.
He was
275.
40. I was 20.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my 21st.
My 40-year-old friend running down on him. You hear me?
That nigga eyes closed. He like,
Hey, that boy running down with the new shoes on.
So what you saying,
Every one of them was different though. I had a sugar daddy that was a race car driver,
Oh shit.
professional race car driver.
Right.
Um,
You fuck with it, T-Real?
they was all white.
Who the fuck is really T-Real?
I never had a black sugar
That's
daddy. They was all
amazing.
white.
Oh, hold on.
really?
The white boy pulled up in all black in the Jaguar.
He used to wear all black.
I had a whole different picture of this nigga now.
Nah, facts. I thought it was Jamaican.
White
was
boy all
white.
black.
He always wore all black, and he always smelled like Issey
It was Tommy
Miyake.
from Power.
That was Steven Seagal. That nigga always.
He was
With a
nice
ponytail?
looking,
It was Tommy from Power.
You see Miyagi.
He was nice.
That
looking.
nigga know slow
That's where they
karate.
got the Tommy and Lala storyline from.
Yeah, all right. So the NASCAR driver, that's how you meet a NASCAR driver.
I met every single one of my sugar daddies I met in the strip club.
Oh, in the club. Copy that.
Let me tell you something about the club. Boy, that pause.
Like your tags, right?
Yeah.
So you want to talk about dancing?
Used to dance or something?
Go ahead,
You
man.
know what I'm saying?
Get to it,
The
man.
strip club is a place of reverence where people do business.
It's a
Yeah,
convention
absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
not.
I had a lot of meetings
It's
with people.
regarded
It's
in
the
a
best
space.
networking ever.
If you want to do anything business-wise, go there first.
Is that the golf course?
It's the golf course with trap music.
And hoes.
And you can smoke weed in there.
You can smoke weed, get you some weed.
That's the only place I want to go down, because these niggas they shoot.
Sandwiches.
Dinner in the movie, one-stop shop.
These boys shoot.
Dinner in the movie.
Everybody wig on
Go
career.
home, wake your ass up. Hey now.
Yeah.
Some clubs. My club, that should be. If the lights ever came on and
The
something.
lights come on, some scary.
Yeah.
I'm like, just like, oh God, okay, it's this time.
Oh, I got fired from Delilah's.
All right, that's what I was gonna ask. What prompted the move? But
I
let's
got
get to that.
fired from Delilah's because there was this girl. Clearly, I stole her man, but I didn't know. And she didn't like me. So we was in the same circle of friends, but we just didn't talk, and everybody knew that we didn't like each other. Well, she didn't like me because I didn't know that was your nigga. He was, he was nice to me.
Yeah.
I was nice and bad.
Back.
So one day we get to arguing. I can't even remember why, but she was like some kind of Latino, and she started cursing me out in Spanish. And I don't know Spanish, but I know
Let me tell you
hands
something.
are a universal language.
Yeah,
so
right.
she came at Spanish, I came with hands. I just so happened to have a champagne flute in my hand because I was fresh out of the champagne room.
Come on now.
And when I hit her, the glass shattered in her face. I stitches, blood everywhere, stitches in her face. And so I got fired, but I became known as like the crazy black girl. Like this bitch is crazy. So I moved to the next club, and it was like a stripper myth. Like there's this black girl, she's fucking crazy. She sliced Brianna's face, and so then.
Kind of like Black Panther.
So I kind of like ran with that for a while and took advantage of this whole and I was like a bully, but it was bad. Like I was a bully, and I shouldn't have been a bully, but I was a bully, and
You was Ronnie?
my life was terrible when I was a bully. It wasn't just that I was a bully. I had sugar daddy. I was fucking all types of husbands and boyfriends and baby daddies. And I just ain't have no disregard for respect or for anybody but myself. All I wanted was my money and a good time. I was on ecstasy. I was drinking apple martinis and kamikaze shots at the same damn time. That's 4 ounces of alcohol. I was 100 pounds. Like soaking
So
wet.
you was like a part of the bad girls.
I
club.
was a
Allen
bad girl.
She was Allen
I was the Island Iverson of Philly
Philadelphia.
Strip. Yes.
So funny.
running
And
through the
then-
club, fucking drinking and crossing niggas up.
But made it to work every goddamn night.
Fuck you then.
And then I went to jail.
Practice.
I had to spend 90 days on Rikers Island,
Ooh.
and that changed my life. Yeah.
You?
I was 22 years old on Rikers Island. I was at Rosie's house. Y'all know
What was you
Rosie's
doing in New York?
So I was remember the whole drug mule thing. We skipped past that, but before Delilah's, before Aaron McKee, my sister's like, I know this guy because I had nothing, right?
I
So
know
she's like,
this guy.
I know this
That's
guy.
all this how it happens.
That could send you to Jamaica.
Oh, God.
And you can make a quick couple bands real quick, vacation. So I went. I stayed in Jamaica for 2 weeks. I swallowed 90 grams of heroin.
All right, so was it back to back or did you like have to take breaks?
I did it overnight, right before my flight. So when I was there, the second day I got there, they had me start practicing with sugar.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying.
Because
You
the
don't just
capsules
do
was
that
like
shit
the
off
size
the-
of my thumb.
They come
So
on.
I started 10 at a time, and it was sugar, and then I would just like shit it out or it would dissolve or whatever.
Yo, she's
I was there
amazing.
for 2 weeks. So after day 2, I started swallowing sugar. And I'm in Brayton, I'm in Spanish Town, like in Kingston, like in the hood where they don't even have like toilets inside and hot water. Like it was like dirty, nasty, like crazy. They kept calling me brownie because I was white. Anyway, so the day before my flight back, they took me up in the mountains and they did like this holy ritual over me and the red clay dirt and the chickens and the roosters and shit and goats and
Get
shit
you
running
ready.
around. And
Get you
then
ready.
and then they gave me all of this medicine. They gave me medicine to keep me nauseous, keep me from getting nauseous, to keep me constipated, and to help me from getting motion sickness, so that everything would stay intact. Oh, and also medicine to coat my stomach from the acids in my stomach eating at the plastic. So I started
Jamaica
the night
Mafia,
before
is
my
what I'm
flight.
telling you.
Let's say my flight was at 10 in the morning. The night before my flight, I started taking the actual drugs this time. It's not sugar. So mid swallow, they're like, "You want an extra $2,000?" So I'm like,
Yes.
"Yeah." So I'm like, "What I gotta do for that?" I gotta do 100. Like, what's up? 10 more? So they like, we gonna put some weed in the suitcase. So they put the weed in the lining of the suitcase, and that's what I got corporate.
Yeah.
So JFK Airport, 12.5 pounds of weed is like an ounce. right? So they ain't give a fuck. You know what type of shit is coming through JFK in the year 2000? This was 1999, January 2000, right? So they put me. They seen it in Jamaica, but they put me on a plane because they was gonna have to send me back anyway. So I'm sitting on that plane, I'm looking at that suitcase, and I'm looking at them on the walkie-talkie, and I'm looking around. I'm like, shit, I'm going to jail. So that was the longest 4-hour flight of my life. I was just trying to figure out what I was going to do and how I was going to talk myself out of being in jail for the rest of my life for this weed in the suitcase. I just knew my life was going to
the bags in your stomach.
That part.
You're going to have to do in about 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
So I get off the plane. Now, in hindsight, if I never touched the suitcase, if I would have just left the airport without that suitcase, I would have been scot-free.
Yes.
I grabbed the suitcase. As soon as I went to grab the suitcase, they're like, ma'am, can you come with me? Yeah, so they took me to the back. They split that shit open. It was weed. You just smelled that shit everywhere. And I'm just like, so my story was that I met this guy named Mikey in Philly. He was Jamaican. Remember, I'm 19 years old.
Right.
I met this guy in Philly. He was Jamaican. He flew me out to see him for 2 weeks. I hung out with him for 2 weeks. The day before I left, he asked me if I could take his brother's clothes back, because it was like men's clothes in the suitcase. And he gave me the suitcase, and I didn't know what was in it. So they like, well, what's his last name? I don't know. Where he live? I don't know. How do you talk to him? Cell phone, what's the number? Disconnected. Like, here's the number, I don't know. I didn't know nothing. Where'd you stay? I don't know. Right.
I'm out here, like, what you
and it's
mean?
like nothing they can really do. Like,
Facts.
so they took me to Rikers. So this is my first time at Rikers. They took me to Rikers. They put me through central booking and processing.
You dressed out?
And
You dressed out?
90 days.
No, not the first time. This the first time.
The first time.
So I'm in there and I'm like, I can't eat nothing because if I shit, I'm gonna be in this motherfucker forever.
I'm telling you.
So I just was like sipping on water and like nibbling on bread, but I just wasn't eating nothing. So finally they bailed me out. So I had a dilemma. Do I call the Jamaicans or do I call my brothers? The only reason why I didn't call my brothers, and to this day my brothers are so mad at me for not calling them. The only reason why I didn't call my brothers is because the Jamaicans knew my god sister and where we lived at. Like, it wasn't just some random nigga that I met that didn't know anything about me, so I couldn't, you know. So I called the Jamaicans. They sent this lady to come bail me out. She paid my bail, but you know that shit is a process. She paid my bail and left me a note with directions on how to catch the bus to her apartment at the Frederick Douglass Homes in Harlem, 145th and what is that? Andrew, whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We know
in the middle of Harlem.
Right.
So
Kennedy's Fried Chicken.
the hoes was trying to take me home with their pimps, right? And I was just like, no, yeah. Like once I got bailed out, and now I'm waiting on outtake. You know, the girls was nice to me. They're like, oh, you pretty. I had on summer clothes. I came from Jamaica, so I had on summer clothes. I had no coat, so I'm freezing cold. They got furs on with their freakum dresses. So they like, you cold? You can get under my coat. So they like, you want to come home with me? My daddy will take care of you. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I ain't having a bikini, but I was. It was January, and I just came from Jamaica. So when they gave me bus fare, they gave me the note that she left with the directions. I followed the directions. I knocked on the door. The little fat Jamaican lady gave me a plate with a steak, some boxed macaroni and cheese, and some frozen broccoli. She gave me a cup with some weird brown shit in it, and she gave me 2 blunts. And she was like, smoke, eat, smoke again, drink shit, lay down. Let me know when your stomach start bubbling. So I did what she told me to do, and I laid on the couch, and a few hours later, my stomach started bubbling. So I knocked on her door, and she gave me a bucket, some gloves, and a Ziploc bag. And she was like, shit in the bucket, rinse them off, and put them in a Ziploc bag. Wake me up when you're done. 7 hours later, there was 90 fucking pellets in the Ziploc bag. And 2 of them were cracked. So I was probably going to die if I didn't get that shit out of me when I got that shit out of me. So they gave me...
On the next episode.
So the next morning, so I went back to sleep, and the next morning, Mikey came and met me and took the Ziploc bag and gave me my money. And then I had to go to court now. So I go to court. So every week, her name was Annette. So every week, every month that I had to go to court, I would meet Annette, and we would catch the train from Harlem to Queens, and I would go to court, and she would make sure everything was good, and I wasn't telling nothing I wasn't supposed to say. And then we would go our separate ways until the next time. And then eventually they gave me 5 years probation, $1,500 restitution. They paid the restitution. And then I was good until I went back to Philly and started busting some checks with my sister. And when my sister got caught, she told on me. And they came and locked me up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and that was a violation to my probation. So when I went to court for this probation violation, thinking that I was gonna be able to apologize. They was like, remand. So I'm like, what does that mean? And they were like, man, put your hands behind your back.
Oh.
So they took me to Rikers Island, and I had to stay there until my next court date, which was 90 days later.
Yeah.
But Rikers changed my life.
No, I can dig it.
Rikers changed my life in a good way.
Talk about it.
It's a part of the movie you doing ballet in your
Rikers-
cell.
I wasn't. I wasn't.
Like 4 feet, like
In my mind,
stretch, bitch.
What I was doing?
in my mind, it was like some footloose. She's a man.
The splash of water. Look up. Go ahead, bitch.
No, jail was cool. I was locked up with all types of. So we lived in a dorm. I lived in a dorm, not a regular cell. And I was locked up with.
Your dorm is different, bro.
Yeah. You in there with their head
I
up.
was locked
Yeah.
up with women from 18 to 65. And
I'm
they were in
telling
there
you.
for murder. They were in there for being gang members. They were in there for stabbing people. They had all types of stories. 75% of the stories started out with, so we were smoking crack, right? I'm talking about 19-year-olds be like, yeah, so we were smoking crack. And they're like, why do y'all smoke crack? They would call methadone and everybody would go to the door. And I'm like, what the fuck, where everybody going? It took me probably about a month to figure out that those were the dope fiends.
Yeah.
Like,
Come off that shit.
yeah, and then like I had money.
Could have sold them
So
pills.
I had, my boyfriend was paying my bills, and I had money. So in Rikers you could wear like your real clothes. So I had like fresh sneakers, I had commissary, you know what I'm saying? I had a car, like I had pictures of me like in my car, cause in New York nobody drives. They're like, you ain't got no car. I had a 99 Durango, bitch, I had a car.
You mean not the Durango? Come on.
My boyfriend would bring my daughter to come see me every week, and so jail was good. But what I liked about it is that it gave me a time to sit down and to reflect on how terrible my life was. I was a bully, I was mean, I was a bitch for no reason. I was sick all the time because I was on drugs and I wasn't taking care of myself. I was eating crazy and I wasn't sleeping, and my daughter was never home. She was always with my sister and them, you know. And I was 22 years old and I was going down that wrong spiral in the strip club life. Like I was going down the drug, sex, rock and roll life. I really was. And that wasn't the right path that I should have been on. So I realized that, for one, I needed to sit down so that my body could recover from everything that I had done to it. And for two, I needed to sit down so I can really realize that I was in control, and the choices that I was making was why my shit was all fucked up.
Put your
And
hands
if
on
I
this wheel,
made
man.
better
Talk your shit.
choices,
I'm in control,
then I would be
man.
a better person. And I came out of jail, and I really did vow to be a better person. And ever since, my life has flourished.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Man,
Hey,
that's awesome. I want to give it up for that.
Oh.
Gigi. I had no idea. I had some idea.
So what we're gonna do is take a collection.
Hey, man, right now, we need a little break from that shit.
For those who are,
Yeah, that shit was stressful. You
No,
telling them with a
facts.
smile and just like, yeah, you didn't motherfucker had that.
Man,
Don't get it fucked up, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let the
My
name
big
fool you.
sister-
Aaron is a gangster.
my
Right.
big sister snitched. By then, I was Candace. I was Tyra by then.
Tyra
Oh,
is a real
shit.
gangster.
My big sister snitched on me, yo. Let's not forget that.
That's
That's
not
Did y'all catch a
nice.
fair one?
Yeah.
You and sister catch a
No.
why she feel like she had to. Did she ever say why?
Cause she was in like 80 bands and I was in like 10 bands.
Oh,
So they was like, y'all got the same last name. Who is she? And she's like, that's my little sister. And they came
So, I
down.
mean,
But she could have warned me. Like, they came to my house 8 o'clock on a Wednesday. Lucky I
Yeah,
had
heads
just dropped
up,
my
like,
daughter
yo.
off at school. I was naked. I'm like, damn, can I
know,
put some
right,
clothes on? Like, can I brush my teeth?
no.
Can I get
They
a
let
hoodie or
me.
something?
You going to jail, girl.
They let me. It was the postal inspector in the Fed.
Man, if you see him coming, put on the hoodie, bro. It's gonna be
But,
cold in there, bro.
Then that same sister. So when I moved here, I'm kind of all over the place. But this is why I don't like that bitch. I love her, but I don't like her. When I moved here, I got locked up for not paying the ticket in Riverdale.
Damn.
No, Riverdale Joe.
I ain't know they did that. I ain't know you got a warrant for not paying the ticket. They
You
ain't do
didn't
that,
know they
really,
did that?
until I got my ass locked up. I went to go renew my stripper permit, and they was like, bitch, you owe Riverdale $475. You was going to jail. And they put me in the paddy wagon and took me to Riverdale.
So you was going to
And
jail.
I went to Riverdale, and no, they took me to Wright Street, and I went to Wright Street.
Been to all the real
and I
nigga
called
jails.
for real.
All the streets.
So I called my brother. So I'm like, yo, I need bail money. I'm locked up. So he like, I got the money in my pocket, but I ain't got time to go to Western Union and send somebody to get it. So I called my sister. Go meet this nigga and get this money and send it Western Union so my friend could bail me out. This bitch went and got the money and kept it. Left me in jail.
Same sister.
Same sister.
Oh, she want the face.
You got the fair one. You
want
got
the
it.
Was she
face.
smoking crack and stuff? Like
No.
That's hilarious.
So boom, we was smoking crack, and
She
then
was like,
I got
she was
400.
like,
Smoke some more. Come on,
my
re up,
electric
bitch.
bill needed to be paid, and
No, man.
I know
I
you
need to be
be
out.
all right. So
Nobody's all
you out
right.
of jail, ain't you? She's like, you got out, didn't you? Yeah, I had to spend the night in this motherfucker. I went out yesterday.
Oh no.
Luckily, I had made some friends in the strip club, and one of my homegirls bailed me out.
Jesus.
But yeah, that happened. I don't fuck with that.
So hold on, before you got the river, we skipped Riverdale to Riverdale.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This
Now,
is how I even got
Put
to
in the comments
Atlanta.
if your sibling ain't shit. Mm-hmm. Write in the comments.
Like and subscribe.
I love her though. I love my
And tell your
sister, but
friend
I
and
don't like that
and
bitch.
share your siblings to like.
She
and
know
subscribe. She said she know it.
She know it.
That sibling
Y'all
ride.
just fix that shit.
Because I just want my money
At a
back.
separate time left you.
So how did you get to like surfing on bitches? When did you
Yeah,
start doing
what
that?
made you
Because
leave
y'all
Philly
made it
to
up,
Atlanta?
then y'all made that shit up, right?
We remixed it.
Hold on. How'd you get to Atlanta first?
Boom.
Another nigga tried to kill me.
What?
You know how good your coochie gotta be.
It's killer.
Every bad chick got almost murdered a little bit.
So he had a
nigga over
heart
here like,
attack
all
while
right
he
now,
was
I don't know.
having sex.
What? Is that good?
Kevin Samuel?
First, too soon.
He was 31 and he had a heart condition that he didn't know of. Because y'all know y'all niggas don't go to the doctor unless I'm wrong.
Y'all niggas
Hey,
don't.
no, why you bullshit?
So-
They got a little murmur.
So,
You better get your shit with it.
They got a little
so
murmur.
basically, I was dancing at the strip club and it was, slow season. In the summer it get a little slow. And I had a boyfriend and he's like, well, why you still doing it if it's slow? And I was just like, because I don't got nothing else to do. And he was like, bitch, figure it out. So I decided to bartend. So I went to bartending school. Bitches don't do that no more. They just learn how to make a Long Island
Hennessy and
and
Coke.
call themselves a star tender. But
Bartender.
They make more money than strippers sometimes. That
yeah,
shit.
yeah. I mean, I bartend right now. Shout out to Club Rain. I'm more than that with the old Foxy lady. I
Hey,
get there on
Rain.
Saturday nights.
They done switched that up, bro.
Yeah.
That shit, they done
That's
cleared
not
all the little
superstars
dust
back
out of that
there.
bitch.
So
The whole eat pill though.
I started bartending. So I came home from work one night drunk, and we had sex. And he came, and I'm like, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
And he came again, and then I flipped him over and got on top. It was like
I flipped him over. Wait.
I got on top.
Oh, all right.
He came and then
She's
I got on
from
top.
Philly,
he came the second
son.
time,
Got
and
you.
then I got on
Yeah.
top. I flipped him over.
Oh, no, Miss Ever tell a
And
story about
then,
flipping me over.
and then
I ain't want to be in this story no more.
and I'm on top, and I'm like, don't stop, whatever I'm saying. I just wanted to keep going.
Right.
And then he like threw me off of him and grabbed his chest like, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Drink some water. And then I rolled over. I
don't be
rolled over, and
hydrated,
next thing I
son.
know, he like shaking me like, my chest, take me to the hospital.
Shit.
So luckily it's a hospital 5 minutes away. So we get to the hospital and it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and they take him in the back and they're like, we'll call you, leave your number. So I go home and go to sleep, wake back up like maybe 10, 11, no phone calls. So I call the hospital. They're like, ma'am, Mr. Haywood is in ICU. He's been admitted into the cardiac something unit, right? So I'm like, damn. Visiting hours are at 5 p.m. So I'm like, shit, how the fuck I'm gonna tell his mama this? So I call on my friends, and this nigga in the fucking hospital. So then I call his mama. They like, you gotta tell his mom. So I call his mama.
You gotta tell his mom.
Yeah, that's color purple
So I'm
shit.
like,
It's just like
Mr.
bucket list for bad pussy, for like good pussy,
that's
like good
color
pussy.
purple. How you got on top of me?
So I'm like, Miss
31.
Denise,
It's hoodlum.
Johnny in the hospital. We gotta go to the hospital. So we get to the hospital. He got the shit, the oxygen in his nose, all the things on his chest, all the monitors behind him. He got IVs in every vein you can put him in. And his lips all crusty like Tyrone Biggums. And he like, Mom, look what she did to me.
That nigga told. Everybody
What you did to me. Let me tell you something.
So,
Mount Rushmore, come on, man.
Why could you get out so she could do it again?
so we did it again. So listen.
Of course. I ain't finna go out like that.
So he was in the hospital
killing
for
that pussy
12
once.
days total, 7 days in ICU, 5 days in the regular part. So
Yeah,
we get
heart
to the regular
surgery?
part.
Or he just was okay.
So we get to the regular part, and then, so I'm in the hospital every day. So now he want to fuck, and I'm like, we can't have sex. So like day 4, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just sit on it. So I sit on it, right? So y'all know what happens when you about to come. Your heart rate go up. So he still got the monitors on. So he about to come, and then I hear people rushing in the room. So I stand up real quick. My pants is open. I'm at the sink acting like I'm washing my hands. He's sitting there with the blanket on his lap looking stupid. And they're like, Mr. Haywood, are you okay? You okay? So he's sitting there looking stupid. He just don't say that. He just staring at them. And they looked at me. Clearly they knew we was in there fucking.
Right.
Oh my God.
But he didn't die that time. So
That time.
yeah. So what happened was after he's out the
It's a
hospital.
nigga watching the episode like, God damn.
No, they be in my
man.
D. I talk about this on lip service, and they be in my DMs like, I want to die.
Right. There's a lot of niggas on death row.
So now he's on. He get out the hospital, but now he's on blood thinners and heart medicine for the rest of his life, and we got to go to the hospital and get blood tests drawn every 2 weeks or some dumb shit. So then he turned into like this total different person. Like he was so nice before then, but then he turned into like jealous, insecure, checking my phone,
Nigga, I'm about to die. You know what
thinking
time
I
it
was
is.
cheating on him.
Don't be out there killing nobody else with
And
this.
then he became abusive. It turned from like a choke to a black eye to a pass out choke. And then, but I was like, I was like blaming myself because he was sick. So I'm like, it's okay. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I was just not telling anybody that these things was happening. And I just was like, in my mind, like, I deserve this because I almost killed him. And because of me, he's sick and now he has to, and it was almost like I blamed myself for him being angry enough to want to beat me. It was weird.
You saved his
So-
life pretty much though.
Yeah.
Crazy
So
part.
it got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore. Like he just got crazy. Like one time he threw my car keys in the river and left me stranded.
Not the river.
In the Schuylkill, you know how Philly got that that waterfront, the Penn's Landing, and he threw my keys in the river and left me at Penn's Landing. He stole my car multiple times, and I would find it, and it would be like a little nigga sitting on it with a gun, like, what you want, like in the hood. So then it got to the point where I'm like, okay, I can't anymore because now my friends are seeing that I got all this makeup on in the middle of the day. Like, bitch, what black eyes you covering today? So, you know, my hunger was like, bitch, you gotta do something because he gonna kill you. Like,
Bitch, you gotta give him some pussy and kill
you
him
gotta get the
midtime,
fuck
dog.
away.
Right.
Right.
See, only one more
So you
time
gotta
to
get
get
away.
deal.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
I
drill
came
this
up
nigga
with
outta
this.
here.
Fuck with that nigga. Just
I
run
came
around
up
the
with
house.
this elaborate plan of moving away. So I'm like, the only way I can get away from him is if I move away. So we literally went down the map, like what would happen in this city? What would happen in that city?
This is
What's
map
going to happen in this
quest
city? So we get to Atlanta, and my homegirl, like, she had been coming down here working at Magic ever since the All-Star weekend, right?
Wow.
And she used to always tell me, like, bitch, I make so much money, but I was 98 pounds. She was thicky with track star legs. So I'm like, they not going to like me. Like, I'm going to stay up here with Jonathan and Cedric, and I'm going to keep getting the champagne room money. You enjoy Atlanta. So then, when it came time to me trying to figure out somewhere to move, she's like, we decided Atlanta would be my best bet. I had a cousin that lived here, and you know, I could stay at her house until I got on my feet or whatever the case. So I told him, I went to his hotel room, and I tried to break up with him. And he started beating me, and I ran out of the hotel room, but instead of going to the elevator, because I knew that would take forever, I ran down the back steps. So he followed me.
Oh,
He
the
did.
nigga heart went
He
good from the
followed
steps,
me.
my man.
He followed me. You know them back steps in the hotel be concrete and steel.
Hell yeah.
So he followed me in his drawers, and when he caught me, he choked me up and threw me down the steps. Like literally, like choked me off my feet and then threw me down the steps. So face all busted up. My phone ain't break. That phone that still was in my hand the whole time. But my face
razor
was all
motherfucker.
busted up, and my shoulder, my back still fucked up to this day because of that shit. So then I told him, I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna go spend some time with my family. Like I'm gonna go spend some time with my family in Maryland. I just need to get away. You know, I just need some time away from you because it's overwhelming. I can't. So I came to Atlanta, and he didn't know that I was in Atlanta until me and whole girl that I was with got into it, and she told her best friend, who was her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was his best friend. Next thing I know, I'm on Magic City stage, and this nigga is walking through the door.
Pillow
So.
talk.
Just so happens
Killing nigga
that
travel? Oh, God.
it just so happens that that day I had wore a pair of shoes that he bought me, and I come
Not the
outside.
Timbs.
No, it was some Christian Dior slides,
Okay.
like some Christian Dior like high heel mule slides, like wedges. And I come outside, so I'm on stage, I see him, I feel like I'm gonna shit on myself. Well, what can I do, right?
Right.
Then I go downstairs, and I'm like, oh my fucking God, what I'm gonna do? I come back upstairs, he's gone. So I finished working. I get outside, this nigga sitting on my car, like leaned up against my car. So when I tell y'all, the first thing that nigga did when I walked up to him was snatch them damn shoes off my feet with me standing in them.
With me standing in
You know
them.
how you take the tablecloth and shoo, right? That's how the nigga snatched me out the motherfucking shoes. He like, bitch, you got my shoes on?
This nigga is crazy as fuck.
fuck?
You out here
snatched me out
boxing. This
the
nigga's a
shoe.
magician.
Johnny crazy as a
Johnny,
motherfucker.
my baby, he rest in peace. I'm gonna get to how he died. I'm sorry.
Yeah.